Okay, so I'm bored and I wanted to do a video reviewing more MMA events. I went to Bellator 198, I believe it was, Fedor versus Frank Mir. Not a lot of big names on the card. Dylan Dennis won via heel hook, I believe. It was a submission clinic. Gerald Harris lost to, I want to say Lovato Jr., I believe is a jiu-jitsu champion. I was impressed by that. Exciting night, lots of Russians in the house. I was in the building, if I did not mention, in Chicago. I got to meet Shoni Carter. I almost met Royce Gracie. I'm so disappointed in that, but I mean, there'll be other times. I wish I would have reported from the venue. But anywho, Frank Mir seemed to hurt Fedor and got aggressive. When he came in, Fedor hit him with a judo or sambo throw. Mir later said that pissed him off and he got aggressive. When he got aggressive, Fedor hit him with a right or threw a right and caught him hard with a left hook. Mir went face down. Fedor went in for the finish. It was over. I kind of saw it happening that way if they stayed on the feet, because Fedor's fast hands, and Mir has been kind of slower lately, getting knocked out by Mark Hunt. Since JDS, he hasn't really been the same. That might not be accurate as far as a fight, but that's when I remember him not quite being the same. Speaking of Chicago, after that I went to see the Romero versus Whitaker fight. We're going to go main event down. I called Whitaker, but during the fight I became a Romero fan and was kind of hoping he'd win. It was a close fight. It's hard to tell from the arena. The cage was kind of in my way. I was being more of a fan than a judge to tell who won, but I'm glad Whitaker won because Romero didn't make weight anyways. So, yeah, and he's old, getting older, so he wouldn't have been champion for very long. And we're going to have a champion that's not going to be making weight. That's kind of tough. Yeah, if you're not making weight, you're not in the weight class. So, yeah, F that. It was a close fight, so yeah, give it to the champ. Close fight, challenger misses weight, give it to the champ. Who else fought? Rashad Evans lost. He's been losing. I can't even name his opponent. I apologize, but I think Rashad should retire. Overeem got ground and pounded by Curtis Blades. Nasty cut, bleeding all over the place. Blades is a contender. I believe Blades, Alexander Volkov, and Lewis are right up there for a potential title shot or potential number one contender fight between two of those three. So we got Overeem lost, Rashad Evans lost, Arlovsky lost to the Hawaiian guy, and I feel bad for forgetting his name. He came out to My Heart Will Go On. I thought that was great. There's too much badassery in cage fighting, and I like to see a guy with a good sense of humor, or someone like Shoni Carter who's a pimp. Things like that. Not everyone has to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mike Tyson, gangster persona. So it makes the sport interesting. Who else fought in Chicago? Sergio Pettis beat Benavides. That was impressive. I was sitting right behind Anthony Pettis and Calvin Gastelum and Vulcan. So that was, that's just small details. But I mean, I'm a Milwaukee guy. I always cheer the Rufus team. I was a fan of Rick and Duke way back in the day and trained there briefly, but enough about me and my sexy ass. Let's fast forward to the UFC 220. I hate these numbers. 226 was last night. a lot of my picks were wrong. I like Gohan Sake. I like the Glory guys and the K1 guys, as you'll see in the future videos. I was going for Saki. He lost. His opponent should be a name in the future, Young Gun. I wish Saki the best in the future. Another world-class striker in Uriah Hall. He lost. I'm so mad I can't remember his opponent's name. God. But that dude, I've been talking about him for a while. He beat Johnny Hendricks. Now he beat Uriah Hall. So that's dope. He was the Jungle Fights champion. We have a new middleweight. He looked like something special in both fights. Let's go to Anthony Pettis. Pulls off the armbar over Michael Chiesa. I was wrong in that prediction too, and I'm pleasantly surprised because I like to see Anthony around for a lot more fights. That was a tough one to call. It was a really tough one to call, but Pettis, once again, very impressive on the ground. I have always said I've been impressed with his ground game. Submitting Melendez, difficult task. Submitting Ben Henderson in the first round, difficult task. I was there that night. I said that would be a war right before it started, and it wasn't. So, as you can see, I'm wrong with a lot of Anthony Pettis fights. Congrats to him. Who else was there? There was Paul Felder versus Mike Perry. I was wrong on that. I was going for Felder. He's been training with Rufus as well and has a good style. I'm not a big fan of Mike Perry. But that didn't go my way. Perry moves up, so he should be in some interesting fights. He's got an interesting style too. Heavy hands, aggressive, so on. That was impressive. We have Francis Ngannou versus Lewis, very uneventful. I scored it for Lewis on his little bit of aggression, especially towards the end. And yeah, he moves up into probably a fight with, who knows? I said Alexander Volkov earlier, and I said Curtis Blades, possibly with them. Main event, I actually cheered for Cormier. Cormier was my pick. Lewis was my pick. Cormier with the fast hands. He used to be called Black Fedor on the internet. He's got fast hands. He's very controlling. His wrestling is better than most. So that separated him from everyone. I was very happy with that. I wanted to see him face Brock Lesnar over Stipe versus Lesnar. Now we have Lesnar comes in the cage, WWF style ending. I'm hoping that I think we got problems here. But I'm hoping that I'm hoping I can survive this video.
Yeah, one more time. Oh, good job, buddy. Here, take a drink, take a break, take a drink.
So, in conclusion, we have Lesnar versus Cormier.
Woo!
I'm excited. Lesnar's a big name. I want the UFC to get the big money fights. They'll probably have...
Cormier's going to beat Lesnar off of technical prowess.
Yeah.
And then Cormier's going to retire as claiming to be the GOAT when John Jones comes back to...
Want to be on the show?
No. Make me a shadow.
Okay.
Okay, buddy, let's go. Let's get in there.
So, that's another opinion. I'm pretty much agreeing with the outcome. I think Cormier is too technical for Brock Lesnar. There's levels to wrestling. A wrestler is not a wrestler is not a wrestler. So, Lesnar's size won't be... I mean, it's a factor, but it wasn't like the factor in him versus Kane. I think this is a very similar fight for Lesnar. I think Cormier, too much on the wrestling, too fast with the hands. But Lesnar brings in the money and the fame. The UFC has a lot of guys that are really good and not well known, and everyone knows who Brock Lesnar is. The same with certain other guys. I want to see more fights with Brock Lesnar, Anderson Silva, GSP, so on and so forth. Former champions like Anthony Pettis. That's really what I want to see, because the company was just bought. They have to earn back their money. And that's pretty much it. I took a poll on my Facebook, and I think most of the votes are going for Cormier, and I don't think anyone's going towards Brock Lesnar. So please subscribe to my channel. I will try to do more prediction videos and reviews, and maybe evolve into something else on my page. And I'll try to report from the MMA venues. And I'll maybe do, I'll mix in some boxing or glory kickboxing or whatever's sort of relevant to combat sports. Thanks very much, and subscribe, share my video.